Hello and welcome to a new episode of Dinks with Kinks. I am your host, John Dondero. Before we get into tonight, I want to remind everyone to follow us on that social media. We've had several of y'all reach out and tell us how we're doing, and we love to hear from you. It has been fantastic hearing feedback now that we're starting to get more and more feedback, and we love it. So thank you so much. And
people still don't say hello to me. That makes me sad.
I send all the messages from our social media. Maybe you need to start commenting on our social media post so they know where to find you.
Okay, fine.
And with that note, let me introduce my lovely co-host. First, the very social media trending Miss Rebecca.
Hello.
And tonight, the man of the hour of the man.
I'm so excited.
The man who needs no introduction, but is getting a very long introduction because that's what we do here, Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
I am titling this episode, The Shepard. Because tonight, we spun on the wheel, and we are diving deep into who we are as people. And tonight, Shep, you landed first on the wheel, so we are going to get a sneak peek
stuck that landing.
into. You did. You stuck that landing so well. It was like our third spin.
I know you.
Our third spin on the new wheel.
Hard.
And in the achievement unlocked, he became a fetish.
You're my fetish.
You are. You're my fetish as well.
So I'm gonna go to your kink list now on that stuff, and I'm gonna be there, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of course. Top of my
Absolutely.
list. Yeah.
I think the first question I want to ask is:
Oh no.
We call you Shep, and it's short for Shepard. Why is that your name? Like, why do we call you Shep or Shepard?
It's funny, those questions that you can answer yourself the best, but it was a name given to me in the infancy of my years of finally getting into the fetish life and working for a fetish production company, because I always was there to take care of or aid people. And during those years, people could visit wherever I was living at the time and know that was the place to get away from everything. No drama, no stress. Even if two of the worst enemies came in the house, because I was there and watching over everybody, they knew not to say or do anything. So just trying to take care of the flock, as it were.
You tend your flock. And I can tell you from experience, I've witnessed it on multiple occasions. He comes by that name Honest. That man knows more about aftercare than I do about breathing.
Aftercare is important. We've already gone over that.
It is.
So, Shep, I have to know what drew you into the fetish community, the kink and fetish community. Where was your start?
I believe it just kind of found me and consumed me. Wasn't something I was, as the average everyday gent, and also a bit shy by nature. One time came upon a more mainstream fetish event called Purgatory many years ago.
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, indeed.
Shameless promo.
Right.
What can I say? They are one of our sponsors.
Well, okay, yeah, you're right, but go ahead.
Yep, at Amos South End, I believe. Yep. That's when they were finally moved over to the Amos, and got the first experience as the just the vanilla guy, I guess it was at the time. Enjoyed the different aspects of it. Became close with one of the soft play people at the time, which then pulled me into the world. Started on all things soft play, and then randomly one day tested out my abilities with a flogger, and it just kept on progressing from there.
And now he's probably he's the flogger or like experience at Purgatory I bring people to introduce them to the world. I always call Shep the gateway to the kink world because, okay, so you show up to Purgatory, which is a live event in Charlotte, North Carolina, about every other month. It's very mainstream. And so you get a lot of people in there who are just going for the party. And they have no idea what kink is. They have, they know what they think they know from media and stuff like that, but they have no idea. So my job at those events is to introduce them and make sure they're having a good thing. And Shep is the person I bring them to. Because Shep will do, I know for a fact he can read people just by looking at them and go, I know exactly what you need. And every time, directly after that, they buy like a lifetime membership, VIP pass, and they are signed up on his board immediately. I always have to go up there before the event starts and says, save me these spots for what I call the demo.
He called me a gateway drug. Roogs, would you agree with that?
I would because, well,
oh
yes,
my.
We've talked about this on our Impact Play episode. I have never experienced flogging. I've never been flogged. So I always said that if I was going to ever have that experience, I would want you to be my first. Just because why not if you have access to probably one of the best around, why not go there? Like, I don't know. And I trust you. I think that's another thing for me, because trust is big. But yeah, I think you're the gateway drug.
I, of course, have to disagree with one of the best around, but
that's just you. It's just who you are. You're gonna say you're not, but
well, no, just because I do know many people with many different skills and such. Some I don't have, and some that are
I will say
pretty crazy and out there, but very, very, very talented. So that's why it's hard for me to accept that fully.
Well,
I try to be very trusting and very safe environment for people. Yes.
You are the best introduction to that world because you have enough knowledge about, the human body and care for somebody to make sure that they are taken care of. So you give them the best first, like they always say the first impression is the most important. You are the best first impression I think kink could ever have. Hands down, on the board. I want it on a t-shirt. Shep, the best first impression of kink.
No, I want to put Shep, the gateway drug.
Oh no!
Yeah, Shep, the gateway drug. Yeah.
all these new titles. I had a fear new titles would be invented tonight.
Oh, absolutely! You know what this.
Of course.
You knew what this is about. You
knew it.
You contacted me earlier. You're like, "You sure you want to do tonight's episode? We can postpone. We can just do it another day."
Well, you were looking a little sickly. I'm just watching out for your health as you say I
do. Yeah.
Like very a good shepherd,
altruistic
right?
of you.
Like a good shepherd. State Farm is there.
No.
Yeah. We'll get there.
No.
We'll get a jingle. We'll get a jingle for it. We'll get a jingle for Shep.
I already have my own personal all natural jingle going on.
So Shep, what if you had to name your favorite kink, like the kink that is like most true to your core that you enjoy personally, not so much, doing for someone else, but something that you enjoy yourself? What would it be?
I guess the one I felt so natural with is the flogging. Yeah. I mean, I've done plenty of different things: electric play, wax play, blade play, all those different things, soft play. But I guess I always seemed most natural with the floggers.
Well, I mean, that's what you're most best at. But I mean, saying, what do you as a person enjoy?
Yeah, what do you enjoy receiving?
True.
Like,
yeah, I was like, you see how he skirted that question. The man is the best.
I noticed that. I knew that you were not going to let it go. That's why I didn't say anything. I knew you weren't going to
I was like,
let him get away.
He was just like, let me show you my skirt and how great it is. Just go around this way. No, we want to know like what you enjoy, like as a person. And like I said, you can be like, I enjoy, facilitating. That is an actual acceptable answer if you can get, if that's what it is.
I am the giver and the facilitator and such. So oftentimes I do gain enjoyment from others, seeing the enjoyment faces and stuff like that. Even on the fetish line, I couldn't ever pin down something that stood out as far as receiving or a fetish when it came to myself. Because I think the thing I enjoy the most, I guess, was always skin contact. So massage or just the caressing and stuff like that. So never been much of a receiver, always a giver.
Well, and I will say this, I can see that.
It's always better to give than receive. That's what they say.
and that very much is like, you can absolutely gain a lot of pleasure from that. And I see that in not just the fetish world, but like in our personal lives. Like when we have VR parties, you always want to like introduce people to VR because you think they'll enjoy it. Like if you think someone's going to enjoy it, you'd be like, let me facilitate this for you. And it's a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm quite the enabler.
Our first meeting, Shep, our first in-person meeting. That's what we did, was VR. You taught me VR. That's when I fell in love with you.
The virtual me.
No, you were in person.
Yeah, you had brought the VR headset over to the house for recording.
She likes me best for my VRs.
I have my own. I don't need yours. I like you for you.
Oh.
Okay, I want to know, was there anything kink and fetish wise that actually surprised you when you tried it and you liked it? Was there anything that you tried that you were like, I can't believe I'm actually sort of into that? Like, was there anything that sort of ever, and not necessarily like a shock, 100%, but like just a surprise, like you weren't expecting it?
Including stuff you heard on this podcast, like we talked about. You're like, I kind of want to try that now that I know about it.
There's so many. I'm like, all right, well, there we are.
While he thinks about this,
I've run the gambit of knowledge on different fetishes, and the podcast, yes, has even educated me on a few I didn't know about. Nothing has come up as a real surprise, because with me, it's not about fetishes per se that I find interest in, but I see them more as more knowledge and tools for my tool belt, or to where those fetishes I can maybe help in others experience or engage in. As you said, I gained the name Shepard because I like to tend to the flock or enable experiences for others.
The one thing I will say about Shep is like Shep is probably one of the, at least in Charlotte, the larger name. Like if you talk about people in the kink world, Shep is known, and you are a pretty vanilla person when it comes to your own interest. Your abilities and knowledge expand well outside, what you would consider vanilla, because I have picked your brain about many things. But as far as like your own personal things, I would say your enjoyments are very, rudimentary, like skin on skin contact, the pleasure of others. very vanilla in that. Would you disagree with that statement?
I don't see that. See that's strange.
I mean,
I'm trying to figure out how best to word it because I don't quite agree with that.
I don't either.
Exactly,
I think
but
skin on skin contract. There's it's its own kink. It's soft
Well, no.
play is its own.
Well, I'm not saying that he is not a kinky individual. I'm saying
we all know that.
Yeah, the man is known for the kinks. I mean, he has owned Dinks with Kinks.
He's speaking members. Directly on things that motivate me or drive me or things that specifically give me reactions.
Would you consider yourself a vanilla mindset when you can derive pleasure from just interactions that are basically vanilla? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Not so much that he is vanilla, but he can derive pleasure from vanilla outside of, if that's the pleasurable person for his partner.
You mean in more along the line of the sensual, not the fetish per se. Not
exactly.
Vanilla.
Yeah, not vanilla.
Not
sensual.
vanilla. I think vanilla describes something different.
Yeah.
Oh, is it demisexual? Isn't that when you have to be attracted to somebody's mind? Isn't that what that's? If I'm not
demisexual demisexual is you will only find sexual attractiveness with somebody you feel close to.
I think that's very much Shep. I don't.
You have to have
I think he does have to have, like, he is a facilitator. All that stuff, but I think and this is, I could be completely off base because I'm not Shep. I'm speaking as an outsider and a friend. I think that anybody that I've seen is that he's been interested as in a sexual partner or any of that. He has to have that emotion and intellectual. So that's not necessarily vanilla as so much as he's got to have more than a physical attraction to them.
Like you said, it's more than a feeling.
More than a lusting.
That's one thing, we never discussed is the sexual orientation of any of us besides me. I mean, it's pretty ambiguous with me, but we think I like everything. Mine. Oh, you talked about being bisexual, and I think I've talked about being pansexual.
Yes.
Panoram.
That being panoram. Because I've always, tried to mystique the whole, we don't know what I like, just a little bit of everything. But
you like everything.
It's always, I do. I like everything. And I think as much as everyone thinks I like everything, people don't know what Shep likes. They assume, like, getting to the core of what Shep is, like what he prefers.
Well, that is true, because there are many times I asked that of myself, since how naturally my mind tends to work when it comes to those enjoyments and stuff like that. I seem to emulate other people, not in the sexual identity aspect, but as far as again, living vicariously through others, their enjoyments and everything else. So it's almost that I tend to adapt to my environment, as it were.
That he does.
Now, when it comes to the whole sexuality, that kind of stuff, definitely in the heterosexual realm, but as like I've done with both massage therapy and flogging and stuff like that, there's no real preference. Maybe this kind of was affirmed in my head through the massage therapy stuff, to where it didn't matter the body in front of me. I treated it as the same. Because as a massage therapist, my focus is not on what's top, what's showing on the skin. It's the muscles underneath. So at that point, there's no gender, there's no nothing. There's just muscles, you know.
That has been something I've always truly admired about you, as far as both like a massage therapist and a flogger and a dom, is it didn't matter who I brought you. It didn't matter the gender or anything. They would get the exact same experience because you didn't, you never had any bias to who was in front of you. It was just like, this is what I do. And that's something that has always just astounded me. Like your ability to just be like, I only see and I only experience what needs to happen. Like that is amazing. And I think more doms should have that mindset, especially in a professional setting. And that is amazing, Shep.
Just doing what I can.
Look at how uncomfortable he is with all these compliments.
I know. He is. This is where me and Shep share. This is the one thing that me and Shep share is our inability to be complimented. I'm so happy it's him being questioned and complimented instead of me. But
Your
yes,
turn's
neither one of us.
John.
It's not.
We're all on there.
Yes. So drill in deep while you can. Time is wasting.
Okay. Here's a fun one.
Oh my.
You ready? It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Ready?
Is it going to be a regular joygasm?
Boxers or briefs, Shep? I have to know.
Wait, can I answer this? Because I think I know the answer.
No, it has
Oh
to be
my.
Shep. No.
I just wonder why he wants to talk about what kind of briefs to wear there. I'm a little nerved now.
No, yeah. You go ahead. You
Answer
answer.
the question.
I was just gonna take a shot in the dark.
Well,
As long as you're not taking a feel in the dark, I guess.
never briefs. Sometimes boxer briefs. Sometimes boxers. Sometimes nothing. Just all in the mood.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say no underwear.
Well,
in my brain.
You can't always do none because, I mean, I do like to, it's unfortunately a rare treat right now, but I do like to go walking, hiking, stuff like that. And during those kind of times, you probably want a little extra security there.
Okay, what is somebody is new to the kink community and you are talking with them. What is one piece of advice that you would give a new kinkster?
Oh no, see, that's not a question for me. That's why I love our events, because John is the talker. I'm just the doer. So,
can you answer my question, please?
oh my.
Nice try.
Yeah, don't push that on me. It's not my episode.
Nope.
But because I've got a question next. This is a doozy.
Well, that one's hard to answer in the sense of normally what I say is very situational based. So that's a little too general for me to kind of give some words to. Yeah, kind of get what I see there.
Okay, how about this? What is advice that you wish you had when you entered the kink community?
Oh, that's a good one.
Not so much that you would give, but that you wish you had. And that wasn't the doozy question. It's coming next. That is just a rephrasing of the question she asked. What advice would you wish you had coming into the world of kink when you started?
Coming. I'm sorry, I had to be two there.
It usually is. Anyways, Lost my train of thought there.
Oh,
Her voice is
Shepard.
always so distracting and mesmerizing, isn't it?
I
It
love how
is.
he's
It's-
avoiding these questions, isn't
He really is. I mean, I will say,
But
I knew
is.
it took 25 minutes before he just went full on dodge. He is like agent in the Matrix dodging these bullets.
I think what I love so much about Shep being on Dinks with Kinks with us is that he is so different than you and I, because we'll just answer questions. We'll just pretty much spill everything. Shep is very much more reserved. So having to pull these
I will
questions.
spill. It's just
Well, because you seem to be like, I don't know, dodging a whole lot of questions and answers there, sir.
no.
This is what I'll say
was
about
once
Shep.
stated very long time ago. I don't speak often because I'm always doing my best to choose the proper words.
Shep, I always tease Shep as being my Spock to my Kirk because he's very logical. he's very well thought, and
Yes.
you can see the words because he's very cautious about what he says. But I think that really boils into what he is as a person because he never wants to offend unless that's his goal. Because I will say he has said some things to me the past week that has been like come to Jesus moments. That being said, my question for you, Shep, is
Well, no. Let me answer that other one right quick first.
okay. Yeah,
The
go
anything.
ahead.
Let's give the bang for the buck, right? So, anything that was told to me. Always be safe in all of your pursuits or adventures, but never be afraid of any of them. Try them out. See how they feel.
And I will give you that, Shep, for somebody who is the very logical person that you are. You seem to be very open-minded. You seem to be more open-minded than most people I've ever spoken to, as far as that. But my question for you is, this is a podcast where we do a lot of weird talking, and you have to deal with me on a weekly basis. What made you want to do this podcast with me? Like, what, like... I really want to know, like, Shep, I love having you on this podcast. You are an absolute treasure to this podcast, and I think you bring a side to the kink that, really connects with people. My question is being, as we've grilled you tonight, as fans have most
Like
doubtedly
a
noticed.
fine grade A piece of steak. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and this is coming from the audience perspective, having to deal with myself since the start, and dealing with tonight being put on the wheel, and both me and Rebecca grilling you. What went through your mind when you were approached about this podcast, and what was your reasoning for being a part of it, which we are very glad you are a part of it.
You are the star of the show sometimes.
You absolutely are. My favorite parts of the episodes are usually Shep.
Yes, and you are the galaxy above us, always shining bright. But anyways, that wasn't for you. I was talking about the galaxy shirt lady.
Oh, it's tie-dye, but thank you.
But it looks like galaxies, does it not?
Okay, he keeps dodging these freaking questions. It's so
Anyways.
Are you Neo? Are you the one? Are you just stopping the bullets?
Yes, he is.
Hey, she's a very distracting presence. What can I say?
I mean...
Anyways, yes. Well, we both know that yes, as you said, more reserved, not much of a talker, more of a doer, so concept of a podcast never really had entered my mind until you brought it up. Because podcasting requires talking, and yeah, not much of the talker usually until you bring it out of me. Anyways, I next to doing all the fetishes and actions and stuff, the most thing I enjoy above all is teaching people. So not just experiencing the fetish, but teaching them about it, or teaching someone how to use floggers or do the things to, again, further enable them to dive into these things on their own without those fears. So it just felt right at the time. And I knew you would be the big talker, so yeah, I could get away with not talking as much and doing all the technical work and everything else. So yeah, you gave me the easy job, so that's one reason why I did it.
Well, Shep, I want to say that I want to thank you for being on this podcast and this journey. The entire time we've been doing this for over a year, and it would not have been, I don't think this would have been a successful podcast without you. You have missed one episode, and I will say that the episode you missed it lacked you. Like, I knew at that moment we could not do Dinks with Kinks without you. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to being on this podcast. Even if you don't think you bring a lot to the table, you bring more than you will ever understand.
I don't think I don't. You know me. As always, just doing my part.
All right. Rebecca, do you have any last questions for him? I feel like we have grilled this man enough to the point
like
where
we should give him some reprieve. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. You don't get this chance much, so.
Oh, I do all the time. I mean, John and I are like, we just don't have to record it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shep,
I
you're
was
my
saying
roommate.
The audience.
I literally
so
was. This is true. And that
give
being
them
said,
their money's
audience, if you're listening to this episode and you have further questions to ask us, please reach out to social media at Dinks with Kinks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Ask them. Ask those questions.
Okay, I have one.
All right.
You can feel free not to answer. Shep's over here getting naked. All right. Now I'm distracted.
Ooh.
So
Showing that ink. Yeah, baby.
oh, yeah. You don't have to answer this one. What is your favorite sexual position?
Oh, yeah. I want to know
I can't
this
believe
now.
we didn't ask that one. I know. I can't believe we have never asked
Wait a minute.
that question.
While he thinks about it, can we make guesses?
Okay.
All right. My guess is standing, partner bent over the bed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's
That's
an
my
eye
guess.
contact type of guy. I feel like girl on top facing him. Or any type of eye contact. I don't feel like missionary, though. Like any type of like face to face. I feel like he would be that. That would be his big connection.
Yeah, I would go. I can definitely go with the face to face. Any positions to relate to that? Because I'm a very visual person, so all the actions and the visuals going on, like in those positions, poses, from top to bottom, is something I just can't take my eyes off. To see
what?
the expressions, to see the motions and such all at the same time together. Yes.
I was right.
You know what? You were right. 100%. You were right. You nailed it. But that being said, I think it's time to find out what we're talking about next week. I think it's time to spin that wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Are you
I
guys
pray
ready?
It's not me.
I mean, it can't land on it can't land on two people like back to back. I want to allow
It
that.
can. Oh, you won't? You'll just respin the wheel and cheat?
No, I won't
So you're a
cheat because I
cheater?
can't.
You're a
Because
cheater?
it will take it off the wheel. That's the thing. If I spin, it takes it off the wheel, so we have to do that. Because I don't have the memory to put it back on.
No, you have the memory of a goldfish. All right, we can spin.
I think you did spin. I was caught
Oh,
on
I
it.
did.
Why is it
I
his facial
spun the
expressions
wheel.
always make me nervous?
Because he makes
Guys,
the Lord nervous.
He does
so,
make me
you know,
nervous.
this time of year, we really look back at, like, you know, fairs of all sorts of types, mainly in the Renaissance era. But, you know, this week, we really got medieval on Shep's ass by asking him a bunch of questions. But next week, I think we really should dive deep into medieval play toys.
I'm going to the Ren Fest tomorrow, so that is going to be so great.
Should be
Right?
researching
Awesome.
hands-on.
I'm actually going to the Ren Fest tomorrow.
All right. In the Ren Fair, there's always this one attraction. It's called the Torture Dungeon. Or something like that, where they talk about the torturing of medieval times. I want you to go into that room, and I want you to go, this is for sex research. I want you to tell the people you're going in there for sex research and be like, I'm on a podcast about sex. I need to do research.
That would be a great TikTok, wouldn't it?
I'll do a TikTok live.
So, yeah, next week
funny.
we are talking about medieval toys and devices. It's going to be a lot of fun. Shep, I want to thank you for letting us grill you for here on over and half an hour of just belligerent you with questions and watching you go, I don't talk. You did an amazing job. This is a great episode.
You
This
did
is
a wonderful
probably,
job. Thank you for sharing with us, Shep.
yes, top
I'm always the sharing and caring.
episode of the new wheel right here. Because we learned a lot about you that I don't think the audience really knew.
And now we start the Shepard fetish campaign.
Oh, absolutely.
Putting you
So guys,
on
if
my
you're
number
on,
one on my Fed Life right now.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're on FetLife, just add the Shepard on your fetish list and show us. Like, send us a screen cap. I want to see screen caps of your fetish list on FetLife, and I want to see the Shepard on there because Shep,
Yes.
you are absolutely one of my fetishes. I will go and make that fetish right after this podcast. So this is John Ondero saying good night from the Dinks and Kinks. And I couldn't do this podcast alone. With me tonight, as always, the illustrious Miss Rebecca.
Good evening.
And as always, since day one, the ever annoyed but the ever playful Mr. Shep.
Yay, Shep.
Till next time.
Good night, everybody.